Hi and hello dear friends, welcome back once again to our channel Vagai Academy of Mathematics, and again this session we have an interesting question to be solved from the topic of algebra and functions. Of course it is going to be a very basic question only, but still this is going to be the first of this type. So let's see what question we have with us. What is the minimum value of the function? Remember the question, what is the minimum value of the function? So here given a function f of x is equal to x square minus 14x plus 40, where x is going to be some real number. Okay, alright, yes. I mean like x is going to take all real numbers. So we need to calculate the minimum value this function can take. And this function is expressed like this. F of x is equal to x square minus 14x plus 40. This is your function. And by looking at that function itself, you can easily recognize that this is none other than a quadratic function, is it or not? This is going to be a quadratic function, and for this function we need to find the minimum value. So of course there are going to be many approaches to solve and get the answer for this question, but still we are about to work this question in two very famous methods. Okay, all right, so two methods we are going to handle now in order to solve this problem, and we are going to get the answer. Of course we do have the options also here in front of us. So yes, let's go by the methods. Let's start with the first method. Okay, all right, yeah. So the first method, what we are going to do is just take the function. We have the function f of x is equal to x square minus 14x plus 40. This is what we have here. So we are going to do something called completing the square method. Fine, okay, there's nothing to get panic here. It's going to be a very simple process. So you just listen here how we are going to perform it. You can very easily understand that. So we are going to have a quadratic function with this. We have this with us, and we are going to complete the square. This is what we are going to do now. So how we can do that? This is equal to, what we can do here is, see here we have x square. So just take the x square term as it is, and see the next term, the x term. X term is nothing but minus 14x. So we have minus 14x. Yes, all right. And now is what we have to perform a small calculation. Just see the coefficient of x, what we have here. The coefficient of x we have here is minus 14, is it or not? Just take half of that. Minus 14's half will be nothing but minus 7, is it or not? So you take this coefficient of x, which is minus 14, take half of that, 1 by 2, which is going to be minus 7, and now square that. If you square it, what happens? What is minus 7 square? It would be 49, is it or not? So just add a 49, and by the way subtract the same 49, so that we can keep the equation or the function as it is without any change. That's the reason. Okay, so just be clear what we are doing here. X square minus 14x, I'm adding a 49 and subtracting a 49 simultaneously, and this 40 plus 40 follows, so plus 40. So this is what we have just rewritten the same function in this manner. Okay, all right, yes. I have a reason for that. Okay, all right. Let me just bring that later. So now if you see the first three terms, x square minus 14x plus 49. Actually this stands for what? This is nothing but, this is just nothing but a square minus 2ab plus b square. In that case this is nothing but a minus b the whole square. That is, I can take this term, I can rewrite this as, these first three terms as x minus 7 the whole square. I hope we can agree with this. Yes, just check it, a minus b the whole square. So you have x minus 7 the whole square, whose expansion is what you see here in the above step. Fine, all right, yes. So x minus 7 the whole square, and now you have these two terms left. They are just numbers, right? Constants, right? Minus 49 plus 40. This is what we have here. So when you simplify that, you will end up with minus 9, simply minus 9. So that means here f of x is rewritten in this manner. Now this is enough for us to determine what is the minimum value our function can take. Fine. Okay, all right, yes. Now look at this stage. Look at the way the function is, the same function is represented. We have x minus 7 the whole square minus 9. Now we can easily think of what value we can put for x so that we can attain the minimum possible value of our function. You agree with that? Yes. Just see here. You just take values for x. You can take any positive value or negative value, whatever it is, but you should make your f of x the minimum, the least value possible. That is our objective. All right. Now see here, what value you can place for this x? you can place any positive or negative value. Say for an example, if you take x as 0, then what happens? This becomes 0 minus 7 the whole square. Is it or not? And if at all x is going to take only real numbers, we should make this x minus 7 whole square expression to the minimum possible range. For which what can be done is, we can make this entire expression to be 0. We should try to make this expression to be 0, only then we will attain the minimum possible value. Why? Because if you go for any value which would give a value which is more than 0, you will have some other maximum values taken, right? Is it or not? Which is going to be values which are more than the least. Then in that case, to attain the least possible value, just think of what value you have to place here for x so that this expression will vanish. What value you will take for x? So you can take x is equal to 7. Simple, very simple, right? So when x is equal to 7, what happens is this entire expression will become 7 minus 7 the whole square, which is going to be 0. That is, when x is equal to 7, this implies f of x will be equal to simply minus 9, and that stands for the minimum possible value of f of x. Okay, so minus 9 is going to be the minimum value your f of x can take. Okay, all right. So we are achieving this by doing the process called completing the square method. Okay, fine, all right. So what we actually do here is just take our quadratic expansion, just expression, and you see the coefficient of x here and take half of that and square it like how we did here. You just saw what is the coefficient of x here. It is nothing but minus 40, half of that is minus 7, square it, plus 49. So I added 49 and subtracted 49 to balance the equation, and then we just came out with this expression minus 9, and we are just taking this term to 0. So what value I can place for x so that this becomes 0? Only then your f of x will attain the minimum possible value. That is the reason. So I place x as 7, and that is giving us 0 minus 9, which is going to be minus 9. So f of x is equal to minus 9 is going to be the minimum value. And now you can think of whatever any other value you take for x. You can take x as 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, anything greater than 7, or even anything lesser than 7 you try to take, put it here. What happens? You can just think of this expression will not be equal to 0, rather it will give you a positive value, because this is after all whole square, right? A positive value the whole square, or a negative value whole square, will definitely end up with a positive value only. So that value minus 9 would definitely give a value which is still more than minus 9. So if you try to make this expression 0, you can easily attain the minimum possible value for f of x. That's what we did now. So f of x is equal to minus 9 is going to be the minimum possible value for your function. Okay, all right. So yeah, this is the method 1, and now we move on to the second method, method 2. Here actually what we do here is, this is going to be even more easier. So we have our function, right? So f of x is equal to x square minus 14x plus 40. So after all, this is going to be a quadratic equation. That's how we started. And now let's try to solve this quadratic equation, okay? By making or by taking f of x is equal to 0. Let's take this f of x is equal to 0, and now when you try to solve for this equation and try to get the roots of this equation, yes, shall we do that? X square minus 14x plus 40 is equal to 0. So I can factorize this equation. So when you try to factorize, you will be getting x is equal to 0. So you have got plus 40 as your constant term. So plus 40, factorize this 40 in such a way that you have to get two numbers. The product of those two numbers should be plus 40, and the sum of those two numbers should be minus 14. It's easy to factorize. They are going to be minus 4 and minus 10. Is it or not? So that means x minus 4 is a factor, x minus 10 is the other factor, is equal to 0. And now when you try to solve for x, you will get x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 10. Simple. So we solved for our x by taking f of x is equal to 0. So the roots of the equation are x is equal to 4 and x is equal to 10. Now in order to get the minimum possible value for your function f of x, what simple thing we can do here is, we will just try to take the average of the roots. Average of the roots. So what happens if you take the average of the roots? That's going to be x is equal to, simple, 4 plus 10 by 2, which will give you 14 by 2, which is nothing but 7. So that means the minimum possible value for your function f of x can be achieved by taking x is equal to 7. That's the meaning. So you simply take x is equal to 7. That will lead you to give you that is you can achieve the minimum value for your function at x is equal to 7. So always this average will represent the minimum value. That's the meaning of this. That's the overall context here. Okay, fine. Yes. So that means when x is equal to 7, just put it back in the function. So I think we can even put it here, right? Because this is the factorized form of the same expression. So in that case, f of x will be equal to, so just take x is 7. Wherever x comes, you just replace it with 7. So you will have 7 minus 4 into 7 minus 10. So that will be in turn 3 into minus 3, which will be minus 9. So you end up with the same answer, minus 9. So anyways, the minimum value for your function, the minimum value your f of x can take is minus 9 is going to be the answer, which is ready available at option D, which is minus 9. Okay, all right. So I hope you are able to understand this problem, and also I hope you enjoyed this problem. Yes, and any doubts you have, you're most welcome to comment in the comment box, and when I see it, I'll see to rectify it. If you feel that this session was useful, please give a like, and also if you feel this session would help any of your friends, please do share this video to your friends also. And again, we'll catch up in the next session with some other interesting question. See you soon there. Thank you so much.